Hello and welcome to GTO Coach and Go. I'm Jim Delleman with Group Travel Odyssey. Thank you for joining us once again today. And again, like I always say, if you have not followed us yet on our Facebook page, if you've not connected with us on LinkedIn, also, if you're watching us on YouTube and you've not hit that subscribe button, please do those things for us right now. Also, if you do hit that subscribe button and you ring the bell, you'll be notified anytime that we have new content on our YouTube channel. We'd love to connect with you on all of our social media platforms, so please make sure to take a few moments to do that. Well, today we've got a really great topic. It's something that we've received a lot of questions about recently, so we figured the best way to take care of those is to go back and review a little bit of this. So we're going to talk a little bit about airlines and how to add airline products and quotes. And in order to do that, let's bring on our resident expert on such things, our lead engineer, Christina Luth. Christina, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you, Jim?
Doing very well, doing very well. I thought, this is a perfect time to do this because there's so much happening coming up traveling wise. We're getting into the season of heavy travel. So we know a lot of people are dealing with airlines now, and they're trying to figure out a little bit more on how to use GTO to take care of all of that airline information. So, and I know as we talked a little bit earlier, you've been receiving quite a bit of feedback, and you've received some questions from our GTO community on how to deal with these things. So I will go ahead and let you get started with
All
it.
right. Yeah, absolutely. That's just right. So we've got your feedback that you just wanted some clarification on the process, which again, if you ever are having questions about things that your current member and you just want to know what's going on and want to review, we'd love to hear that feedback. So this is why we are going through this today. All right. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, so we are starting today in Sales Manager, and right now I am on a proposal, and what we'll go ahead and do today is we're going to start by adding an airline quote. So you will use this button here, Air or Rail, and then go ahead and click this Add Airline button here. All right, so what you will now see is we're going to be adding a quote. So first you'll start with the supplier. We're going to just go ahead and do a miscellaneous airline. Just a quick note, we do have, and we did do another coach and go on this topic, but we do have an integration with Fly My Group. So just to quickly show you, if you are going to go ahead and use Fly My Group, which you will need an account with them in order to use this integration, but you would have a different section than what we're going to go over today. So just that quick note that if you are using that integration with Fly My Group, there's a few different things there. All right, so back to the miscellaneous airline, and we're just going to select airfare as the price. Normally, you might have contact information for that airline, but since this is miscellaneous, there is no contact to choose from. And all right, so now we're just going to put in some basic information of what we would want that quote to be. So you can do a preferred outbound time of day. So we'll just say morning, return time, we'll just say evening. You can select nonstop or maximum connections. We'll put 1 for maximum connections. And then the preferred city airport. So with this group, I believe was from New York for this test account. So we'll just select a New York airport. And then also a backup airport. And then you can select this if the group should be on the same flight and if you have any special requests or notes. You can push this button here, this email quote, and it will open in your default email in your computer settings. And that will show you a quote that you can then send to somebody requesting that airline. So it does not have to be Fly My Group. It could be something else if you have a contact that you want to get a quote for. But right now, we're just going to go ahead and save and go back to the proposal. All right, so if we go back to this here, this will show all quotes for air. And then you can see our quote is here, but you can see there's no information on the price yet. And that is because we were just putting in some basic details as to what that quote is for. So before we create a product, we're going to put in some pricing information. So I'm going to go ahead and click the edit button here. And we are going straight to pricing. All right, and under this pricing section, this is when you actually have that information as to what that is going to cost for the flight, and you're going to put that in. So we're going to put in, if you have some kind of locator record, you can put that in there. Number of seats, we'll just say 50. Currency for the airline is USD. Base fare per seat, let's just say $250. Taxes and fees, we'll do $40. Complimentary tickets, we weren't lucky enough to get one. And then if you have one, you're that lucky, you can put that number in and then a cost per person. If you have a deposit due date that you'd like to put here, you can also list that. We'll go ahead and pick a random date. And an amount per person for that deposit, we'll say it's 50. And it's non-refundable. This information will stay with the quote, which you can then also view once it is a product or once it's in Trip Manager. So if you do want to keep track of that, you can put that there. And now that I put all that information in, I'm going to go ahead and save and go back to the sales proposal. All right, so if I click here again, you will now see I actually have some money that's listed here. So something that is going to cost, that's going to add to the trip. So now when we click this add to trip button, it is going to calculate into our selling price. So we're going to click. And then it might take a moment or so, but it's going to create an airline product. Let me refresh. There it is. Okay, so we'll go ahead and this airline product here. We're going to open that up. All right, so now that we clicked add to trip, it added into the cost of the trip at this $290 per person rate. So airfare is special product. So you will see on any of your airfare products, you will see this special section called air with any of those specific details. There's also been newly added a go to airline quote button. This is for your convenience to quickly go back and forth, which we are going to use right now. So I am going to click go to airline quote. So now you can see the quote that we've entered in, and now I'm going to enter in a flight schedule. A flight schedule is what you will use when you actually have that itinerary information, when you know what's going to happen on the flight itself. You have a flight number, you have the specific airline, anything of that sort. So we're going to go ahead and add the flight schedule. And then we're just going to put in some things here. Direction, we'll say outbound. Class, basic economy. If you would like to label this flight as something, this passenger group is where you could do that. It's just for internal purposes as far as knowing which one it is. So if you do have a very large group, this might be handy for you to know which group is on which flight. Departure date. So it looks like our trip start is 8/1. We'll put that in. A time, let's just say 9 a.m. Time zone you would choose. So we were in New York. So EST. New York. All right, arrival, we'll set the same date. Arrival time. Let's say we had a layover in Chicago. So forgive me if my times are a little off, but we'll just say it arrived at about 12 p.m. in Chicago. And that is, I believe, Central Time. EST. And then the arrival airport, we'll say it's Chicago O'Hare. And then the best thing to do here is if you have multiples that you want to put in. So for example, we know we have our New York to Chicago and then our Chicago to San Diego. That's the city that we're traveling to. And then we have our going back as well. So what is the easiest thing for you to do is click this little arrow and click save and new. That'll just save you time in the long run. All right, so now we saved that record and we're gonna move on to the next one. So again, an outbound, basic economy, departure. We'll just say it was about 1. Central city is Chicago. Putting all the details in. Arrival time, we'll just guesstimate about 3. This could either be very short or very long flights. Okay, Pacific and San Diego. All right, and then one more, save and new. We're gonna do the return flight. That is going to be on the 3rd, the return date. We'll just say that is at 3 in Pacific. And that's out of San Diego. And then arrive. Oof, let's just guess around 6. And then that would be in New York. We're going to go back to New York. So Eastern and JFK. All right, so now this is the last one we need to enter. So you can click the little arrow again. And now you want to do save and close. And when you do that, it's going to go back to the airline quote, which you can open this up. And now you can see all of the 3 that we just entered. So the flight schedule is basically any time your group is in the air, any time that you have a flight number that you need to watch for. So that is what you are tracking. And now we're going to save and go back to the sales proposal. And now for the information that most of you ask about is, what do I get on my itinerary? Well, what we did cover in a previous Coach and Go is now when you add those flight schedules, it will automatically add it to your itinerary on the day that it's occurring. So if you recall from the ones I just added, I had a layover in Chicago, which is why you're seeing 2 of these flight products. And then I have my return flight. What you can then see on the product for this itself, if you want to change the day to something, so we knew that this flight, if you scroll down, you can see this is the flight for the New York to Chicago. So we remember this was a morning one. So we'll go ahead and we'll just put in a day block, day section if you want to add that for your ultimate itinerary on your proposal. You do not have to add that, but if you want to, you can. And then we're going to save. And then to show you what that would look like when you go to your proposal, we're going to go ahead and click this Generate Proposal button and scroll down to this itinerary here. And then you can see this is the language that would be listed. If you do want to change it, you absolutely can. That would be over in here. You can use our handy grid edit function, or you can go to the product itself and change that information. And that is where you see the one we did list as morning. So you would have that listed in order if you did select a time. Now, what I wanted to show is what another question we get often is, what happens if I don't have those flight information? So ever since we did put this into place as creating that itinerary scheduled flight, they do create automatically. However, for those of you who are longtime members, you may have already had trips scheduled with flight information added, so it may not have been automatically added. So let's pretend that is the case here. So I'm just going to delete these. And then I'm going to save and close out of here. And then I'm going to go to my airfare product. So this is where we're going next. Go directly to the airfare product. And you will see this big red button here. So this red button is going to take these flight schedules and is going to create, like we just had with one of 4, I deleted them, those flight products. So we're going to click it. It might take just a moment or so. So we'll go ahead and you'll see that that does disappear once you click it to avoid you getting duplicates. And we'll just wait for that to go ahead and add. There they are. So you can see they are back to where they were, and you can see the language, if we go into one, is the same. And you can also add, like we were talking about, the day block section there. So that is how you would get those onto your proposal for the actual time slot and the wording that you like. So that is what you would do for the airfare products in Sales Manager. Now, if I already had these itinerary flight information products on the sales manager proposal, it would automatically carry to Trip Manager when it was created. But if you did not have that created when you already sent your trip to Trip Manager, I'm going to show you where that would be. So this is a trip that is in a test trip in Trip Manager that was sent over, and we go to the airfare product here. And I just wanted to point out that exact same button, that red button to add those existing flight schedules, can be clicked in this application as well. So in Trip Manager, you can then click it so it would add those flight information lines. So when you go to your final itinerary, you can actually have them on the time that it is occurring. And that is how you would manage your flights.
That's fantastic.
All right.
Great. It's interesting because as much as we see this and stuff, I like the fact that red button's in there now for you to go ahead and click and have those products automatically, put in to the proposal. I think that's really, really helpful. But also, like I said, this is something that for those people who do a lot of motor coach travel, you may not use this very often. So it's always good to go back and review and see how this works for you. Again, as Christina said as well, for those of you who have questions on this or need a little bit more information, don't ever hesitate to contact us. You can email our help desk, help@gtonetwork.com, and put help in the subject line. So that way it will create an actual ticket. And one of our experts will go ahead and reach out to you and help you with whatever questions that you may have. So just, let us know what you need help with, and we'll be here to help you out with that. So again, Christina, thank you so much for taking us through that process. Again, there are some companies who don't do a whole lot of air travel with their groups, and then there are others that almost do exclusively air travel to get their groups around. So, thank you for coming on and helping us with that. Just a reminder to everybody that Coach and Go happens every other Tuesday at 2:00 Eastern time. So make sure to join us, not this next week, but the week after, and we will have more information for you with more things in our system, ways to use our system more efficiently, possibly some new information on things that we've been working on. Christina and her team work tirelessly behind the scenes to kind of add more features to it. They update features. There are things always going on with the GTO system that we would love to let you know about. So make sure to join us again on in 2 weeks from now, so we can go through some more information that we have on our GTO system. As well as that, we're going to be next weekend. Several of us are going to be traveling to Detroit, and we're going to the American Bus Association Marketplace. So if you are going to be at ABA, visit us at booth 412. 412. If for those of you who did not get an appointment with us, we will be there. We have several people that will be at the booth. We'd be more than happy to take you through a demonstration of the GTO system. So make sure to visit us at booth 412 at the ABA Marketplace in Detroit. So we look forward to seeing you then. Christina, once again, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us even more information. And we look forward to seeing you again very, very soon.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here.
Excellent. Well, thanks. And everybody have a fantastic day, and we will see you again next time. Take care.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you for watching this episode of GTO Coach and Go. We invite you to stay connected with Group Travel Odyssey on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and be sure to check out more of our media, including Destination Dispatch and the Destinations Beyond Expectations podcast. Please visit our website, grouptravelodyssey.com, where you can learn more about GTO and request a demo. Group Travel Odyssey, business without boundaries.